most of you got a meter like this. A Mac, it may be a different brand, that's okay. It just needs to be a quality meter. For the meter and how they work. The first is the safety part of the meter. If we were to run this on ohms, we want to check resistance. What the meter does is going to put a small voltage, it's got a battery inside here, put a small voltage out this lead, run it through the wire, and tell me how much voltage it saw come back on this lead. That's how the meter works. If I put out 2 volts here and get 1.5 volts back on this side, it's going to say, well, to lose a 0.5 volt, so an ohm meter function basically is voltage drop test, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Drop.
It's a voltage drop.
Yes. Good job,
Okay.
Phil.
So we're going to put voltage out here, read what comes back here, and say if we lost that much pressure or voltage, our resistance must be, and it's going to give us an ohm resistance there. That's good to check switches, so to see if we got a broken wire. There's several things that's good for. But there's some things it's not good for. For example, if we have a wire this size that has 100 little wires in it, 99 of them are broken, one of them is still good, and I take an ohm meter test from here to here, no voltage in the circuit, remember? Can it pass a small voltage through one little wire? Yes. Okay. And will it show that my resistance is okay? Yeah. But can it run enough current to turn the headlights or run the starter? No. Okay, so an ohm meter test is good for some things, it's not good for other things. The safety part of this is, if this meter is putting out, let's say 2 volts, and that's what it expects to see, and I forget to change the reading and I go over here to check voltage and hit it with 12, that's 6 times what it expected to see. And we're going to give it a cardiac arrest, okay? We're going to blow its brains out. It has a fuse inside there to protect it. And so if you ever go pick up a meter, guys, and you want to run an ohm test, the first thing you do is you put it on ohms and you touch the leads together. If you get a reading, you're okay. If you don't, somebody probably tried to check voltage with it and it's got a bad fuse. All right, that's how you protect your meter. You got to be careful. So we're going to turn this to voltage, a function of voltage, and when we do, we can go. This is called an open circuit test, and it reads
12.65.
12.65. All right. Another function that we have of the meter under voltage functions is how we can use this meter to make tests. So, Jeff, you can come around and start your car here. The next button that we're going over is called the min-max. You guys should have all used the min-max function. So you push that until it beeps. Okay? As soon as you do, it starts recording, and it's going to do exactly what we told it to. It's going to tell us the minimum and the maximum voltage reading. Every time that reading changes, it beeps. Can you hear it? Okay. You ready, Jeff?
Drop because the fuel pump.
Okay. We're going to start the vehicle. Shut it off. Now we push the hold button and we just measured the minimum and maximum voltage, and then we told it to hold the reading. If you don't do that before you take the leads off, we just went to 0 on the reading, and that's the minimum reading now, so we just erased one of our readings and put 0 in there because we ended up with before we were ready. Now when you click the button, first of all it says minimum. That's what the battery dropped to when we started the car. You see it?
That's a little low, isn't it?
Okay, 9.93. Do you remember we don't expect it to drop below 9.6?
Okay.
There are some newer cars that may not even start if it drops below 10 volts. You need to look up specs. I'm just telling you what the battery manufacturer says. Okay, 9.9. So is this battery check okay to this point?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, now I'm going to punch it till it says max. The maximum is
14.6.
14.63. When the car started, did the charging system work?
Yes.
Yes, it did. It was charging 14.6 volts.
That high?
Okay, that's a little bit high, but not for when it first starts. So that fast, using the min-max, I check the battery under load, I check the alternator to see if it's working. I did all 3 of those tests in what, 2 minutes?
Yep.
And the thing that's nice about it is I don't even have to be looking at the meter, because I can push the button, go in there, start the car, come out, push the hold button, my tests are done. All right? That's the min-max function. I'm going to show you one more. When we do a voltage drop, we have the negative battery cable comes off here, and it goes down and goes to the engine block. So to check that, I'm going to come right here, a good ground somewhere on the block.
Is that redundant ground when it's on the block?
Not yet. No, that's the main ground. A good question. Now push your min-max. Now we're going to start the car.
Eventually.
Actually, this is a Ford. Maybe we crank the car. We'll be lucky.
Zero?
No.
Do we need to push start it?
Okay, good question. Before you start it, the meter's reading 0. Is that what it should read?
Yeah.
We have no current flow, so it's the same on both sides. It should read 0. That is correct. Okay, now let's start it. I'm going to push this, the maximum it dropped.
0.5.
That tells us how much voltage we lost to get through the negative cable to the engine to crank it. Can you see that? 0.5. Okay. The cable is just over 3 foot long. We're expecting to see
0.3.
0.3. It's a little high. We need to determine, is that